Welcome into Jags A.M. Today, I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton and John Ogier are with me. We are fresh off a bye week, and we're ready to talk Jaguars football once again. We'll start off with big thing number one, which is back at it. We are back at it, week 13 after that week 12 bye. Talking about football once again, Brian, we were all kind of catching up before the show just now about what we learned in the bye week. I tried to stay a little bit away from football, but you watched all the games yesterday. What did you take away from it?
Well, and I'm going to get into this as my hot take. What I got into it was that with the schedule that's remaining for the Jaguars, there's an opportunity for them to win some games here at the end of the year. And I know what you're thinking. It's too little, it's too late. John, we're not talking about significant games at that moment of the schedule where you're like, that's Thanksgiving. You'd love to be playing a game with a if this, then that scenario at the very least. And we're not. But at this point of the year, you still have an opportunity to win some games. Nothing has gone this team's way this year. And when you look at the division and the schedule that's there's an opportunity for them to make some things happen for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately you're talking about a team that hasn't performed playing against a bunch of other teams that haven't performed. So anything's possible, and it would give you a better feel for the end of the season. I think they got a chance to win Sunday. That's sort of part of my hot take as well, so I won't get into it. But yeah, you can come out of here with a better feeling than what you've had in the first 11 games. And that's something when the season so far has, frankly been nothing.
And Kai, it's worth pointing out, if the coaches and players come back with a little bit of energy, like kind of we feel here, the focus of where they're at has got to be on these last 6 games. It's human nature for people to start thinking about what their future holds. Will there be a change? Will coaches need to move on? Will players be here? Doug's biggest challenge for this football team is to keep them all focused on these 6 games and not letting just that natural progression of what am I going to do, where am I going to be, take over. These 6 games will decide that.
Good point, Brian. I think that brings us into our second big thing, which is no news is good news. Now, over the bye week, we did not get any news. Going into the bye week, a lot of people expecting there changes with the coaching staff, changes with the front office, changes elsewhere. But now, at this point, John, I think it's clear we're not going to see any changes at this point with the team. I know we're not big fans of coaching changes in the middle of the season, but to have at least that going forward and kind of where the team is at this point.
Yeah, you would think to a degree it would stop the weekly questioning after games, although I don't know that it will stop that questioning, quite frankly. So it should give the players at least a feel for, okay, these next 6 weeks, as Brian talked about, we'll have a focus, we'll know what we're going to be doing, we'll know who we're going to be listening to. You would think it gave them that. Is no news good news? I guess it depends on your perspective. For a lot of fans, it's probably not. For the team, I would guess it's at least okay, Brian.
There's a certain portion of the fan base that will not stop asking that question. But there's a more casual side of it that will like winning. And if you go and you win, you won't take away the are you going to make changes. You'll just soften it a little bit and people will focus on, hey, they got to win against the Texans. Now they go and play the Titans. So you can diminish that a little bit by winning. You're not going to make it go away entirely because the dissatisfaction of a season that's not ending with a playoff berth is not going away.
I don't think it is. And I think we'll be talking about that for a long time, even after the season as well. So our final big thing today is going to be home stretch. Brian, we talked a little bit about what they could maybe do in terms of wins. What do you want to see in terms of long-term for this team? What do you need to see from the team?
That focus, right? I need to see guys who are dialed in completely on what they've got to do week to week and you guys have both been in locker rooms for a long time. You know what that look in their eye is when they're not all the way into it. We always joke that the last game of the year, cars running in the parking lot. I want to make sure that the car keys are in the locker and not in the car, and that these guys are drilled down into what Doug and his coaching staff are doing. I want to see them win games. You've got time here. You've got a schedule. You get 4 games against the division, the Raiders and the Jets. I mean, that's not what you just came through with the best teams in the NFC. I mean, Packers yesterday were great. Vikings came from behind to win. The Eagles have won 7 in a row and are now 9-2. And the Lions are 10-1 for the first time since 1934, right? You just came through a gauntlet. 3 of those games you had a chance to win. 1, obviously, you weren't in at all. These games that are left on the schedule should afford you the opportunity to build a little bit of, I don't want to say momentum because you're not going on into January very deep, but it will give you something that you can hang your hat on.
Yeah, you'd like to see some young players play and develop. I know I'm going to start getting questions in the next couple of weeks. Just play all the young guys. Well, that's harder to do than that question implies. But I think there have to be some situations where you try to get Parker Washington more involved. You try to get Bigsby, big time carry. You try to get guys. It's a shame Cooper Hodges isn't playing, right? That level. I think you've got to take advantage of these last 6 weeks to do that, because frankly, there's some veterans who you already kind of know what it is. So I don't know where that balance is, but you'd like to try to find some of it.
Well, I'll give you an interesting one. How about Trey Prince, right? He's a guy who we saw through training camp in the preseason make some plays, and here and there, I'd love to see him on the field. However, because you know that Ronald Darby is a one-year fix. So you'd like to see what you've got with this guy. But if it comes down to winning, these coaches are going to keep Ronald Darby in instead of Trey Prince. Balance is the right word, John. You got to figure out what that is.
All right, so it's here on Jags A.M. We're coming back. We're going to go over what's been going on around the NFL while we were on the bye week.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more, or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
The 2024 season is pawsome. Register your pet for the Four-Legged Fan Club, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes, with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners, and the chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit Jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up.
Football is back. Celebrate with a gay Duval meal deal. Score 2 Roller Grill favorites and a 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.50. That means you can choose any 2 to pair with your Coke. 2 hot dogs, 2 tornadoes, 2 roller bites, or mix and match. Whether you're stopping for a quick snack or tailgating with friends, this is a victory for every Jags fan. Deal happening now through January 2nd, 2025. Stop by to purchase in store.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguar season at Firehouse Subs. Receive 50% off on any sub when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Download the Firehouse Subs app for offer details. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available in the Firehouse Subs app.
Move the freight, move the freight. Magellan Transport voted the coolest office space in Jacksonville. You can apply online at MagellanLogistics.com. Welcome back into Jags A.M. We're back in studio here, getting ready for week 13. Bye week last week, much needed for everybody. I think at this point, fans as well took some time away. But football still happened on Sunday. So let's talk a little bit about what went on in the division and what went on elsewhere in the NFL last week. So Titans get the big upset over the Texans yesterday. Hopefully that doesn't piss off the Texans too much coming into town this week, but it can be done. And what we've seen from the Texans, and I think that makes it more frustrating for all fans, they don't have this division locked up by any means. They're showing that this division was very winnable.
Yeah, the division was winnable. You have some regret for that. I mean, C.J. Stroud has not played as consistently well as he did as a rookie. Nico Collins has been injured. So has Will Anderson. Their offensive line is good. It's not great. You know, they have moments where Joe Mixon looks like the old runner that he was in all those years in Cincinnati. When they put it together, they're the class of the division right now. But it was obvious watching them the last couple of weeks that if the Jaguars had the kind of season that we thought they could have, they'd be right there in the middle of this thing. They just didn't.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions and a lot of grief from fans this offseason when people say, well, the Texans are doing this, Texans are doing this. And I said, well, look, let's not anoint the Texans yet. I was right, but I didn't really realize the Jaguars were going to be this bad.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
Yeah.
I was right, but who cares, right? So yeah, they're very vulnerable. They don't look like a team that's going to compete once the postseason rolls around. But the rest of the division seems to be ebbing so quickly that it doesn't matter for them. So good on them. They'll get a division title at 9-8.
Some drama elsewhere around the league. Things going down in New York, getting blown out by the Bucs after they cut Giants QB Daniel Jones earlier in the week, dealing with that contract situation, still going out, not playing well. Malik Neighbors chirping at some of his teammates. This is just a little bit of, it could always be worse. So we can remind ourselves that things are not perfect anywhere else either. John, when you look at kind of things being handled poorly, I know you've seen a lot throughout your years, not going well in New York right now.
Well, when it goes bad, it goes bad. And I'm not close enough to that situation to know why things are handled one way or the other. But they're clearly at a reset. This is what the league is now. You go with your quarterback until you don't, and then you have it out the door and you reset. So they're in that find it. Until they find it, they'll probably be where they are. So.
Well, I mean, you have the same issue across the parking lot, so to speak, with the Jets, where it appears now Aaron Rodgers is incapable of playing at a high level again. And there was the thought of the owner, Woody Johnson, talking about benching him. And you just, in some situations, you just have to be very thankful for the fact that you've got a locker room full of guys that are willing to kind of keep it focused on the team as opposed to, well, I'm not happy. And for Malik Neighbors, look, we'd heard he was mercurial. When he was at LSU, he's an extreme talent. But for a rookie to come out and say that, even at this juncture of the season, that one caught me off guard.
Frustration certainly boiling over in New York for both football teams. Elsewhere, I also want to point out we're playing the Raiders later in the year, just before Christmas. Gardner Minshew, familiar around here, he's going to miss the rest of the season, broke his collarbone. And so that means we will be facing off against Aiden O'Connell or quarterback to be named later at that point.
Maybe Desmond Ridder, who finished the game for them. Every time I watch Gardner Minshew, good for him, right? I mean, he's on his fourth team in his sixth season, and he looks like a guy who can play 10 or 12 years as a backup. It was unfortunate that he had to take that blow. He had the Raiders in there against the Broncos and playing pretty well, and then he took that shot, and it was all over for the Raiders.
Yeah, Gardner is an amazing story. Like you said, he's carving out a 10 to 12 year career that will have many highlight moments both ways, and credit to him, because as everybody knows in this market, he was very close to being out of football in college, and through guts and hard work has made himself a career. I'm sorry to see him hurt. He's a fun guy to watch.
Well, and if you know his whole story, you're talking about a guy that played at 4 different colleges in 5 years, right? And now 4 different teams in 6 years. But he gets to be himself and do it his way. So for him, congratulations. He's going to make millions of dollars and be able to call his own shot the rest of his life. That's a win. I mean, when you talk to players, they want to get to that pension. They want to put enough money away. Yeah, they want a Super Bowl, but Gardner's winning no matter what.
Not bad at all. Stay with us. We're going to give you our hot take predictions for the final 6 games of the Jags.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
Football is back. Celebrate with a gay Duval meal deal. Score 2 roller grill favorites and a 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.50. That means you can choose any 2 to pair with your Coke. 2 hot dogs, 2 tornadoes, 2 roller bites, or mix and match. Whether you're stopping for a quick snack or tailgating with friends, this is a victory for every Jags fan. Deal happening now through January 2nd, 2025. Stop by to purchase in store.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Jags fans, register your furry friend for the Jaguars official four-legged fan club for pets presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Visit jaguars.com/promotion/four-legged fan club to sign up today. Welcome back. We are fresh off bye week, getting ready to give you some hot takes, at least for what we think are hot takes for the last final 6 games of the season. Hot takes presented by Firehouse Subs. Brian, what is your hot take prediction for the final 6 games?
It's got an asterisk next to it. The asterisk is if Trevor Lawrence comes back to play, right?
Okay.
And if Trevor Lawrence comes back to play, I think the Jaguars will finish 4-2. And I think that they'll finish 4-2 in the division, which means that they would go 3-1 against the Titans, Colts, and Texans the rest of the way. 4-2 would be great over 6 games. It doesn't do much on the season. They'd only finish 6-11. But I think the division stinks, to be quite honest with you. The Texans, we talked about, are only marginally better than everyone else at this point. Anthony Richardson looks like a gladiator, but he looks like a gladiator who has no clue what he's doing. All he wants to do is run, and there was a couple of series where he was in the pocket with a wide open receiver right in front of him and either missed the guy or threw the ball into the dirt. He's just not playing at an NFL quarterback level. And you can stop the Colts if you can stop Jonathan Taylor. And the Titans look like they'll be a handful, but they're always a handful for this team. So I think the Jags have a chance to go 4-2, and I'd like to see it over the final 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's funny with this team, and I'm not trying to be facetious here. They could go 4-2, they could go 6-0, they go 6. I mean, it's
anything can happen.
So my hot take is that I think they'll win Sunday, and I'll joke with this because the league is stupid, and that's how things go in this league. You saw it this weekend. The Browns beat the Steelers. There was another game that sort of fit into that as well, where you're like, really? And so all of that, and I think we'll talk about it later in the week, I think the Texans are very vulnerable right now. After that, I have no idea because this seems so hard to predict. The way it plays, it will be in 4 of the last 6 games.
Yep.
And maybe they make a play at the end, maybe they don't. So far, they haven't. But I have no idea. So my hot take is probably because of your asterisk.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, how about the Cowboys going in and taking on a red-hot Commanders team and winning? I mean, in a stupid fashion, right? With 2 kickoffs for touchdowns and the big play to Terry McLaurin. I mean, it's just, it's tough to predict some things that happen in this game these days. So.
And I think we're getting to that part of the season, too, where teams that are playing for something, you're getting a little tight. There's a lot of pressure on you versus the teams that know where they are at, unfortunately, not involved in it at this point, so you can play a little different style.
Since you bring that up, where's this team? I mean, are they? No. Can they go play loose and relax like that because they have nothing to lose, right? I mean,
I think my hot take is also if Trevor Lawrence plays the rest of this season. I think from what we've seen, 2 parts. Trevor Lawrence will prove that he's the best QB in the AFC South. I think we've seen in the last 2 weeks without him makes you appreciate him a heck of a lot more maybe than you did before. And also looking at elsewhere in the division, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson's, they're not even in the conversation with me anymore. And I think C.J. Stroud, in this sophomore slump that we're seeing him in right now, he's not playing anything like what we saw at the back end of last season. So until we see maybe a 3rd campaign out of him, I don't think you can really anoint him at this point, just seeing how much he has been struggling recently if you've been watching. So Trevor Lawrence comes back, does something with this offense that we saw nothing from the last 2 weeks, literally zilch. That will prove his worth to me.
I think you're spot on.
I like that hot take. I think it turns this week, if Trevor plays, it turns it into maybe the last truly meaningful game of the season. If Trevor could play, you beat this team, he plays well, all of a sudden there's a little more in the fan base of, hey, our guy is maybe better than this other guy who we wondered about. So I have zero idea if Trevor will play on on Sunday, but that would be a cool storyline to watch this week.
Absolutely. Stay with us. We'll tell you what's coming up the rest of this week before the holiday and what you can expect.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Imagine beautiful new windows and doors that elevate your space and keep you comfortable year-round. At Renewal by Andersen, we specialize in custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors that are crafted to last. Right now, for a limited time, save 20% off your entire project. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation today. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans. And this week's home game brought to you by the University of Florida Health, the proud healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, we're back in the swing of things here as the Jaguars are going to play this week against the Texans, a divisional game, but we're not on normal schedule, a little bit off because it's Thanksgiving this week. So we will hear from Doug Peterson in a couple of minutes here this morning on Monday. We think we'll know who the quarterback will be at the end of that conversation, or no?
No, I'm not going to tell you. No, Doug loves to play the quarterback game. I don't think we'll have any clue.
Yeah, I agree, and not just he does love to play the game. But I also think it'll be an unknown because of the shoulder. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
All right, we should hear from some quarterback on Tuesday, so we'll be back with you guys on Wednesday to recap everything for you, get you a preview for the game on Sunday as well. See you then.